Hi, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to solve this problem. Over here I have a pillar tap. The little handle has broken off. Usually you would open the tap like that and you would be able to turn it left and right using this handle. The handle has snapped off. So unfortunately at my local plumbing store and my hardware store that don't sell the additional handle, you have to buy a whole new pillar tap. So you can see these pillar taps, they come with a fused head part or the top part of the unit. So in this case I would have to either repair mine or buy a new tap, and this is why I did the repair. Now this is how I solve it. In order to get this top part off, there's sometimes a hot cold indicator. On this particular one it has come off, so you would just use a screwdriver and peel the hot cold indicator off, which will open up a gap for one to put a Allen key in here in order to unscrew and open that lid. So in this case I would unscrew that until I'm able to slide this off. The size of this Allen key was 2.5 millimeters. Now here is the lid or the cap, and here is the broken part. Right, in order to solve this I will be using a drill and a grinder. So if you're not familiar with using those tools, I would skip this video and go and buy a new tap. Now if you are familiar with using those tools, I'm just going to demonstrate what I'm going to do. The plan is to remove what's left over in the threaded hole. Then the next thing is I'm going to have to grind this down a little bit because this is too fat to get into that hole. Ideally, if you've got a device to add new threads here, that would be first prize. I don't have a threader right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill that out. Then I'm going to resize this and seat that back in. It will shorten this a little bit, but the end user probably wouldn't notice, and I don't think it would make any difference to the functionality if instead of it being there, it is there. That's still going to work fine. Then I'm going to drill a hole through the top post over here, and that is going to fasten onto this handle. So the first step now is to actually get the remaining broken part out, and this is probably the most difficult step, is to get that out. I'm going to have to drill it. Now I am just going to use a lubricant just to put a little bit on here so that it can penetrate there, and maybe it will even loosen that broken piece. So I am just going to try and turn this thing with a screwdriver before I try and drill. Maybe I'm lucky. Alright, in this case, the way it's broken, it's not easy to unscrew, so I'm going to try and drill in order for me to get some tool to turn that. Now, it's best to use a vise, which is much safer to work with, and also if you've got a drill press, that will speed up the job and also again improve the safety. Because this is a metallic item, hammering it and working with it, it does get scratched. This one in my hand is already very scratched and old, but if you want to save your one, work on wood, then you won't damage your tap. Now this alloy is actually quite soft, so one can drill it out or one can tap it out gently, but just be careful not to tear the other side. So I'm just tapping it and it's actually moving quite a lot. In your case, you might be able to just tap a flat screwdriver there and then indent it and then unscrew it. But in my case, it wasn't possible. So now I've hit it through and I've drilled, and there's the remaining threads. I just need to get that out. Right, so there's the threads, and now all I need to do is resize this to get into that hole. So now I'm going to grind it a bit. I'm just measuring, okay, so it's about 7.5 millimeters. So I'm going to go and grind this now to about 7.5 millimeters. Right, so I'm just seeing how far it's going to go inside. It's going to go quite far, so I'm just going to draw a line so I know where I'm grinding to. Okay, so I'm quite far off, so I'm going to have to take about 1 mil off because I need to get to 7.5, and I'm 9.7. Right, now I'm 8.7, so I'm still a mil off. Okay, so that's actually worked very well. Now the only thing I need to do is get it stuck in there, so I'm going to drill a little hole and wedge it. Right, now I'm just going to drill through here. Right, so I've drilled a little hole there, and now I can actually put this rivet like that, and I can rivet it on. There we go. That's not going anywhere. Now you could put some epoxy here or some glue if you want to make it extra strong. Right, this is an extra step. It's not necessary, but I'm just using this powder bond, similarly Q bond, and I've just poured the filings there, and then I've just put the glue inside, and I've just built it up a bit so that no water gets in there, and just to give that extra strength also so it doesn't wobble at all in the future, because a rivet does slowly become a bit loose. Right, so there's the lever, there's the gluing, and this thing is very strong. I can't move this. And I can now use the Allen key and install that grub screw. Just when putting this back on, just make sure that put it on where the lever is in the correct position. When you're tightening it, just make sure you're pressing down. And yeah, I'm being extra rough. And I'm pulling on it, and if anything it'll probably break the plastic inside rather than this lever. Right, so there, the job is now complete. As stated earlier, unfortunately the little indicator for the hot and cold side, the little circle disc, is missing, so that's why there's a hole in the middle there. And thanks for watching, and cheers.